we're wrapping up this week 149 with, of course, the midweek wrap-up.
Like a little present.
Not a whole lot to talk about. A very simple episode of NXT. I actually want to talk about what's going to happen next week on NXT real quick, because we pretty much have the entire rundown of what's happening next week as well. We're going to have our very first... Or no, this will be our second televised UK Championship match.
Yeah.
Tyler Bate will be defending the UK Championship against Jack Gallagher.
That should be fun.
We saw a little back and forth between the two of them. I mean, Jack Gallagher doesn't really have anyone he can kind of match style with very much in WWE. So I feel like him and Tyler are going to have an extremely fun match.
It's going to be a wrestling clinic.
It's going to be extremely exciting. Andrade San Almas is a moron. He is
picking
decided...
fights with Drew McIntyre.
And also I want Dozer behind every camera in WWE now, because I want him to go, ooh, what's this? As he's doing.
Oh, those guys.
He was recording him and Tucker working out, and he just happened to catch Andrade being a douchebag to Drew McIntyre. Oh! Also, we're going to be getting another match of Aleister Black, probably knocking out some jobber. I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah, so that should be interesting next week on NXT. But this week, we opened up with the NXT champion, Bobby Roode, talking about how, you know, he's glad that he finally got rid of Shinsuke. It's his NXT. Everything that he wants is moving forward. And then he started giving everybody shit because everyone was saying so many good things and cheering on Shinsuke last week when Shinsuke had his farewell to NXT. He was mad at the fans. He was mad at the locker room.
All the wrestlers came out and were all happy about him.
He was mad at Shinsuke because Shinsuke was just spewing lies. So, needless to say, Bobby Roode is, you know, he's kind of a douche. But he would be, maybe... I guess he hasn't really had a run-in with this person yet, so technically this is his welcome from this person to NXT. He could come face-to-face with Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
Hideo wouldn't have anything to say other than a slap and a GTS.
You got knocked the fuck out.
He got knocked out so hard that we went to commercial. We came back from commercial, and we needed to watch something else while people were helping Bobby Roode get out of the ring.
Yeah.
So... Not a glorious first day back from WrestleMania weekend for Bobby Roode, but we'll see where him and Hideo end up going. But yeah, then we watched the whole confrontation between Andrade and Drew McIntyre, only to lead into Andrade versus Danny Burch.
Hey, my boy Danny Burch.
Danny Burch we haven't seen since the UK Championship.
No, this is a guy who needs to get put back in NXT.
I think. Especially with the fact that we are going to be getting the UK Championship show, or the UK show, the fact that he was part of the tournament and he's back on NXT, there's a good chance that Danny Burch should be getting signed. I know officially, from what I gather, due to the fact that they were on the stage for the announcement of the show, and due to watching Being the Elite on YouTube, that Pete Dunne and Mustache Mountain have all been signed by WWE.
Yeah.
So, Danny Burch...
Would that also include Wolfgang then?
Wolfgang probably.
Because he was there too?
Yeah, I just know that because the Elite had a 6-man tag team match over in the UK against Mustache Mountain and Pete Dunne. And they actually said to the crowd that they got signed. It could have been a Young Buck troll. I don't know. But, yeah, I think Danny Burch is definitely...
You say that Young Bucks like to make jokes and stuff?
Well, you know, the Bullet Club in general like to do that. I mean, might be a thing.
I don't know, I've never heard of like the Young Bucks doing and or saying anything funny.
No, they're not really funny.
Ever. They're super serious.
They're kind of boring.
Give Lance Storm a run for his money, the most stoic wrestlers that ever existed.
Danny Burch didn't win.
That's unfortunate.
I'm just really looking forward to Drew McIntyre just beating the shit out of Andrade next week, because Andrade, you're like half the size of Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
Good luck, sir.
The difference between Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan to Drew McIntyre is like a good 6 inches and 25 pounds.
And hair.
And like physicality.
Yeah, he's working his way up that European ladder, isn't he? Pretty soon we'll see him on Raw taking on both Cesaro and Sheamus in a handicap match.
Finn Balor, 2.
That too.
3-on-1.
That's goes to Drew McIntyre, drops back down to Finn Balor, and then goes up to a handicap match. So yeah, Andrade versus Drew McIntyre. Next week we had women's tag team action after something we actually didn't talk about last week. We skipped over it.
Forgot to mention it.
We had Peyton and Billy were, I guess, trying to remodel the performance center.
Yeah.
They were like trying to put up shrines of themselves and stuff like that. They happened to go by one of the trainers' rooms where Liv Morgan and Aaliyah were in, and Aaliyah ended up shoving Billie Kay into one of the ice baths. Yeah. They were none too happy, so we ended up having a tag team match. This was okay. Aaliyah gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But she's still kind of the slow point of the match, and she was the main focus of this.
Yeah, they're trying to push her a little bit.
They're definitely. And I'm not upset that they're trying to push her because she does have her moments.
Yeah.
But she's definitely a league behind the rest of the current women's division. Yeah. I think even Liv Morgan is vastly progressed further than.
Yeah.
Aaliyah.
No, and I mean, to an extent, yeah, it brings the match down a little bit. But at the same time, from a learning experience, I think that's probably what it's going to take for her to get better, is to actually be in there and doing the thing
right
with the good people.
Training is one thing. Actually, it's I guess trial by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, she slowed the match down a little bit. Still had some. She still had a couple of good moments, but she ended up hitting a sunset flip on Peyton Royce. Billie Kay ended up grabbing Peyton's hands from outside on the apron. Liv Morgan did a drop kick to Billie Kay, and Aaliyah was able to pin Peyton Royce. So the iconic duo on the losing end of a tag team match this week, which doesn't happen very often.
No.
Unless they're going against Asuka and somebody else.
Yeah.
So Billie Kay and Peyton Royce gotta get back on that winning, the winning train. I guess you want to. That's what I said.
The winning train.
The winning train. It's a new. It's
hashtag winning train.
Never mind. Moving on. We had a cage match.
That's up in the corner now.
No, we're moving on. We're moving on because I'm stupid, and I don't want to dwell on the stupid thing that I just said. So we're gonna talk about the cage match between Tye Dillinger and Eric Young.
And Tye Dillinger wants to leave NXT and arrive to SmackDown on the winning train. Hashtag winning train.
Stop.
Hashtag winning train. The winning train will not stop.
He's gonna be the goddamn conductor of the winning train, alright?
He is.
That was cool.
You can't see it,
you
but
can't,
that's
strictly for us.
sign.
No, I love this cage match. This was the right place for a cage match in a feud. The fact that these two have been building this up, and to have the level of physicality that the two of them did, the progression of events that happened throughout it, because it started off very obviously both guys trying to get out, both guys trying to fight each other, keep each other down, using different tactics to get out. We had Eric Young busted open. Some good blood action on Eric Young. Tye Dillinger, just feeding off the crowd, trying to use everything that he possibly could, because the idea of this whole thing was that it was just the two of them. There were no outside interference. It was them, the referee, and the crowd, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
Until Sanity decided to get involved, and so then you had. Yeah, that's one of the scariest things I could think of. Like being in a cage, you're already going against Eric Young. You think you got this in the bag, you're heading towards the door, and the first thing you see is Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf going, smiling at you, and nope as they're closing the door on you. Scary as fuck. But yeah, there was a whole brawl on the outside.
People getting in and out of the cage.
Nikki Cross jumped on the referee and took him down. And yeah, it was insanity. And then we had
No, it was in a cage.
Not the brawl.
Some of it was.
The brawl was insanity. Think about it. We had Roddy, we had Cassius Ohno, we had Ruby Riott all come down. Complete chaos at ringside. We had Ruby and Nikki end up fighting their way to the back. We had multiple people getting in the ring and trying to get involved that way. We had...
Tye crossbodied Dane and Young.
Yeah, Tye was in this moment where he climbed the cage. He's like, okay, everybody's down. I just got to get away. And then he's like climbing over, and then he realized Alexander Wolf was climbing up the side, and he went, oh, fuck this. So he just crossbody, took out Dane and Young, and then as he realized both those guys were down, Nikki wasn't outside, and Wolf was still climbing up over the side of the cage, he's like, you guys are stupid.
I just want to know, like, the thought process, when you're climbing up over the cage and there's another guy climbing up the other side, why don't you still not go down? Because it would be extremely difficult for Alexander Wolf to put him back over the top of the cage.
True.
I mean, really, honestly, the worst thing physically Alexander Wolf could do to Tye Dillinger is knock him off the side of the cage and force him to win the match.
In my head, when it comes to that situation, it's not the way you want to get out of the cage. You, especially if you're Tye Dillinger, you're getting ready to go on a major run on SmackDown.
I'm just saying, it happens a lot in cage matches where, like, one guy has, like, a team or a stable behind him, and then you get people climbing up the cage and the person going over the top of the cage going, oh shit, I better not go down still. I mean, in hindsight, like with a lot of different things like La Familia or groups like that, if there's multiple people that are out there, it's like, okay, don't go down because you're going to get your ass kicked.
I just want to point out that out of all the stables, the first one you thought of was La Familia.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was thinking, like, somebody cage matching with Edge.
Yeah.
But instead of just one Alexander Wolf, they would have, like, Chavo and, like, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins all surrounding the cage.
But you did mention Bam Neely.
He was probably never.
He was the most pivotal point of La Familia.
He was pretty much the leader of La Familia. Let's just
more so than Edge.
Clarify that.
More so than Edge.
Yeah.
Maybe tied with Vicky.
Definitely more than Vicky.
But anyway, yeah, Tye had that moment where he realized everyone was on one side. He had nothing barring him from getting out.
The door was wide open.
That was his ticket. He was out there able to actually lock the cage and keep all three members of Sanity inside the cage for as long as it took them to climb over the top. But he was out there able to celebrate with Cassius Ohno and Roderick Strong. Crowd's going nuts. So Tye leaving NXT on a high note. We actually got to see the WWE.com exclusive of him thanking the fans. He didn't get the Finn Balor or the Shinsuke treatment where he got to do it in the ring, but
no, there's a big cage in the way.
Yeah, it's not quite as intimate as the other one. So yeah, it's a good finish for Tye. He got to have his big NXT moment.
It was good because this is the first time he's ever got to win a pivotal feud match.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a well done feud that had the right amount of pacing and just the fact that he had fallen short every single time, and every time he got a little bit of momentum, Sanity was able to kill it, and so him to finally get up to this point, finally beat Eric Young on his last day in NXT.
Yeah.
A fantastic way to play out Tye Dillinger. He's heading to SmackDown.
On the winning train.
He's conducting that motherfucker.
Choo-choo, bitch.
Peyton, Billy, train's leaving the station, is heading to SmackDown. Billy, you've been there once. Peyton, it's your turn now.
Get on the train.
Get on the winning train. That's gonna be my thing. I'm gonna make a T-shirt.
Hashtag it up in the corner, like I said.
Hashtag winning train.
Yeah, use hashtag winning train on social media if you want to join the conversation.
Yeah, do it.
Do I sound like a WWE commentator when I say that?
Thanks, Michael.
Vintage winning train.
God. Oh, man. Yeah, that was it for NXT. Yeah. It's weird only having, like, 3 things to really talk about on NXT on a weekly basis. Is there anything else we want to mention, or is there any news happening, or is there anything?
Oh, one thing we didn't mention. They did a video package about Asuka.
Yes.
With all the different other NXT ladies.
Including Daria.
Yeah.
The fact that Daria was involved in that, I think, is the biggest noteworthy part of that, is that she hasn't actually been super affiliated with the women's division on NXT. Yet. She's only had 2, maybe 3 matches on NXT, and so to have her part of it, I'm excited to see. I like to see her and Mandy Rose start showing up a bit more often.
Yeah.
Just to have an even bigger women's division. So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see. Maybe before we go to the next takeover, we'll get Daria and potentially Mandy getting a shot to go against Asuka before she has her rematch against Ember Moon.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see. You know who else is making waves on the local NXT tours?
Who's that?
Mary Dobson.
Yes. What was it? Raised in the Woods, Born in the...
Yeah, she's playing a backwoodsy redneck girl.
Yeah. Hey, if she can pull it off, I'm cool. I know she's a good wrestler, so as long as she's working the gimmick, go for it. And I'll watch Mary Dobson and cut off jeans. I don't give a fuck. It's fine with that. Ray Rowe, don't kill me. One other thing we actually did.
Ray Rowe, if you do want to come on the show, though.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come on the show, but just don't kill me for ogling your girlfriend. One thing we didn't mention on Raw.
He's ogled her a lot.
Well, especially with the Jason mask. That's my favorite part. No, one thing we didn't mention on Raw, and I guess it fits here because he was formerly NXT. Dash Wilder, out for 8 weeks with a fractured jaw. That's unfortunate.
It fits because it happened on the NXT tour.
Yeah, his NXT farewell tour. I think, luckily for the Revival, I think they did just enough to make their presence felt on Raw, where it's not going to be a big. They did a big enough thing to keep their name there. But they weren't in the middle of something, especially since the New Day got moved to SmackDown, that they're not missing pivotal TV time.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Dawson ends up doing some singles matches, maybe with Dash in his corner over the next 8 weeks. But if not, no Revival for 8 weeks.
No, that makes me sad.
You didn't get Revival on Raw, and you didn't get DIY on NXT. None of your boys were on TV this week.
No, closest I got was Danny Burch, and he lost to Andrade.
And Luke Harper lost to Jinder Mahal.
He didn't lose to him,
but he lost in a match.
He lost the match.
He lost in a match that Jinder Mahal won.
Yeah, he lost a #1 contenders match. That makes me sad. I can rest with a little bit of solace that Mojo didn't win that match either, though. So I think that's the worst case scenario.
that would have been the worst. If
that would be the worst case scenario, especially if Mojo won the match because Rob Gronkowski helped him.
Fuck that guy. Oh.
Alright, that's enough.
It's weird that the Patriots just kill so many things.
Yeah.
I guess that's it for the midweek wrap up. Thanks for watching, guys.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click the links. Check out the podcast. Check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
It's reasonable with a W.
Like wrestling. Where we'll have brand new videos coming up.
Okay.
It's just we sound like an outrageous audio commercial.
Oh, I like a Bill and Ted commercial. Bill and Ted trailer.
We would have been like wrestling. Whoa. We'll be having a brand new What Colt's Wondering coming up. After that will be a brand new Fantasy Warfare. After that will be a brand new Hottail Hour. So
many brand new things.
Look forward to that stuff. We're gonna be getting caught up on our punishment videos here very soon.
Yeah.
We're trying to get time for Tom's Wolf to come out so we can shoot some more content.
Yeah.
I know you are potentially going to be shooting some more Hottail Hours pretty soon.
Yeah.
We have our next guest lined up. We're just trying to find time.
A couple guests.
But yeah, we got I know one for sure.
Dranked.
That's the only one I know.
Get dranked.
Get dranked?
Yeah.
Weird.
You don't get drunk on the Hottail Hour. You get dranked.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
DRANK''D. Hashtag dranked. It's up there now.
Gotta get that D.
Why not?
That's it, guys. We're all over the place right now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Hashtag winning train.
Hashtag dranked. Can you get dranked on the winning train?
Yes, absolutely. That's the best place to get dranked.